So when did it start to pop in your head? Like, maybe I could do something with this. It wasn't really like that much of a business decision early on, was it?
It wasn't. And I mean, this is so long ago. I mean, we're dating back to like 2001 right now. But I mean, Burning Angel started in 2002, April 20th, 2002, actually.
Right.
Wow, I guess it was almost our birthday just a couple days ago. There was something inside of me. I will say, like, being in the punk scene, I learned so much about so many different things and become very like worldly when it came to politics and very like, I don't know. Like, I was very like open-minded in many ways, but I think it was very kind of like closed-minded when it came to like sex and sexuality and stuff. And I was kind of like figuring myself out on the inside. I don't know. And I started like writing all these weird like erotic poems and stuff in my English class. And I don't know. I actually started like interning at this like kind of like very like sex positive like women's like magazine in my last year of college as just like for fun. I was able to do it for college credit. I don't know. Anyway, I started to do all this stuff, and my roommate, who is my very best friend, his name's Bitch, and we're still very close to this day. It was actually his idea one day. I remember coming home being like, oh wow, like I learned this and like everybody read this weird poem I wrote in my English class. I lived in a house with like 8 other guys, and I'm like showing them these like weird sex poems I was writing. I don't know why, I don't know.
It's funny because like if you were to be kind of going down this career path now, I feel like there would be a lot of people celebrating you and looking at you as doing something really important, whereas at that time
everyone was like, what are you talking about?
Upon,
yeah,
right?
I think there was this part of me just trying to burst out, and I wasn't sure how, I don't know. And my roommate, he was a big porn fan because he was a dude in college. I really knew nothing about the porn industry at all. I knew nothing about porn or
living
the porn
with 8
industry.
dudes is probably like a very encouraging environment to start that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes I'd come home and like see them all sharing one DVD that they bought.
Wow. At the same time.
That's hot. You don't gotta do that anymore with OnlyFans. You can all be on your phone.
Right, yeah. And he was like, would you want to start a porn site with me? It was just out of nowhere one day. And it was sort of at the time in my life where I was like about to finish college. And I was like, what am I going to do with my life,
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, let's do it. I don't know. It just kind of... And I think when we first said it, we weren't sure if we were both joking. We weren't, and then we just started talking about it, and that was how it started.
Do you think that if you hadn't taken that internship or those classes that you wouldn't have felt as open-minded to actually doing the porn site?
Yeah, I mean, probably not. I think there was just this like kind of screaming voice inside of me. I was always in this like very like male centric universe, like all my friends were like these guys in bands, and I was very much like a like supporter of everyone. I always went to everybody's shows. I always
girls in that time period, in that scene, they were arm candy, they were coat racks. Right. It was very unlikely that you would see a girl who was like really doing something entrepreneurial with herself,
Right. I mean, it was a thing where like the girls in the punk scene were very like, you were either known as like the slut, like the girl that fucked every guy and didn't really care about anything going on. You just were there to fuck the guys and whatever. Or you were like everyone's like bro, like homie. And I think I had a hard time deciding. Yeah.
If you're totally sexually inachievable or just have a boyfriend, but then like if you're actually just fucking the guys who the guys obviously want to fuck too, then you were like eternally scorned.
Right. I think I kind of bounced back and forth between those two. I was like, am I the bro or am I the slut? Like, I think I wasn't sure. But I was like, you should be able to be both. You should be able to be respected and have things in common with people and be an equal to someone and also want to like have fun and explore yourself sexually.
What was people's view of you in that scene after you launched Burning?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was very, very, very mixed reviews. I mean, I got ostracized. I lost friends, It was a very weird moment in life. I actually remember, which is, a story I have like told before. The day Burning Angel launched was 4/20. So happens to be a pretty big holiday in most college campuses. Yeah. And there was a very big like punk show going on in my basement that day that didn't really have anything to do with the launch of Burning Angel. Like, and I'm sure with websites, like we kept planning a day and it didn't work out. And we planned a day and it didn't work out. So we never really had like a this is going to be our launch date. It just so happened that the day we finally got our shit together and everything worked and we could launch it happened to be on 420, which happened to be a day that somebody else was throwing a big show at my house. And it was like, I actually remember eating some like, you know, vegan pop brownies and walking around my house, and everybody was like talking about it, you know, like everybody. And I was not used to being like that girl that everybody was talking about. Everybody kept pulling me aside and asking me like questions like, oh, do you think that the porn industry like exploits women? Do you think that porn is punk rock? Do you think that porn is feminist? Do you think, you know, like I was like, and mind you, this is the beginning of Burning Angel. We didn't even have videos on there. All I did was go into my bedroom and somebody else took photos of me with their, you know, my roommate Mitch, who was, you know, became my business partner. He literally borrowed a digital camera from his mom, because remember back then it was very hard to get a hold of a camera, and took like photos of me, and they went on the internet. That was all I knew about the porn industry. And like people are asking me things I didn't know. And then, you know, there were a handful of other girls from the like punk scene that basically had the same experience. They came to my house, we took photos of them, and like that was it. Like I didn't have this huge knowledge.
But
you know,
was
like I became this like spokesperson for something I didn't know anything about.
But if we had asked you at that time, what do you think this is going to turn into, or whatever, was it?
I had
just
no
nothing?
idea.
Just this tiny little
it
thing?
was this little thing, and I actually remember this was like there was a band playing in my basement, and they were all friends of mine. These were friends of mine, and it happened to be a band I really liked, and it had like a female singer, and she, in between songs, gave this whole speech about like how pornography causes like domestic abuse and like this and that, and she was like a super like ultra feminist girl that I always like thought I aligned with, you know, but I guess she was anti porn, you know, and you know, this was so early on, whatever. Anyway, I remember she gave this like whole speech about it, and I was like, is she talking about me, or
she's subtweeting you in public?
Yeah, well, this was way before Twitter. I'm like, did she happen to just have this planned, like to talk about anyway, or is she talking to me in my house, you know? And I remember walking around and I was like, what did I do? What did I do? And I just like panicked. I remember I went to my room. I like went upstairs because I was like, what did I just get myself into? And I just remember, and you know, also at that time I was like a pretty big like political activist, and I just remember I always did like all this stuff that like trying to get people's attention to like wake up and listen to something, and nobody ever wanted to listen to anything. And then I was like, this is like very powerful.
You make some porn and everybody just can't stop talking about it.
Yeah, I felt like I've always been that person trying to scream something and nobody listened. And I was like, well, this is really powerful. And I just remember thinking to myself, I have two choices right now. I either need to take this down and move and never speak of this again, or I need to really do something very big with this, and how, I don't know. And I was like, I have to decide what I'm going to do, and I have to kind of decide it now. And in that moment I